What up, everybody? In Force Season 3, Episode 4, Tommy handled the situation concerning DMac and how King Kilo wanted him dead for taking out his nephew, Mad Dog, by using a scapegoat, Rashawn from the SODs, when he decided to back out of the coalition. DMac kept the gun that he killed Mad Dog with, and Tommy got it from him and planted it on Rashawn when they killed him. And I want to clear something up for a minute, because I've seen a few people say that DMac gave Tommy the wrong gun because he put a gun under the couch before answering the door. But DMac didn't give Tommy the wrong gun. He just lied to him about having another gun. Then after they got the gun, when they took out Rashawn, they put the gun next to him and recorded Rashawn getting crushed for Jannard to show King Kilo and to convince him that it wasn't DMac, but it was actually Rashawn who took out Mad Dog, saying Mad Dog had robbed Rashawn and that's why Rashawn took him out. The funny thing is, Tommy recording killing Rashawn is actually an Easter egg to how this all began when DMac killed Mad Dog and took a picture of it to show the diamond. But when Jannard was showing these pictures to Kilo and telling him that it was Rashawn who killed Mad Dog, Kilo said that he would need confirmation from the SODs that Rashawn was even robbed. And that could end up being a problem, because the only member of the SODs who knows that Tommy and Diamond took out Rashawn is Malik, who replaced Rashawn as the leader of the SODs. And he told Tommy and Diamond that can't nobody else find out about what happened. So that lets us know that the SODs as a whole weren't on board with taking out their leader and replacing him with Malik, and that it was more of a move that Malik made on his own. And there's also the fact that Rashawn having his tongue cut out while still holding his gun doesn't make any type of sense. And when King Kilo hears about the fact that Rashawn had his tongue cut out, he's gonna figure out that things don't add up. Not to mention, Rashawn just happened to get taken out with the gun he killed Mad Dog with right next to him. Just seems a little too convenient. And with Rashawn being a gang leader, somewhat experienced in the game, and not an amateur like Tommy called DMac, there's no way he would be walking around with a murder weapon on him. But the thing is, for at least right now, I don't believe that King Kilo knows that DMac is Tommy's nephew. So because of that, Kilo shouldn't see that they would have any reason to be protecting DMac and going through that kind of length to save him. But before ending the conversation with King Kilo, Jannard also told him that if he still wants to take out DMac just to make sure, then they could make that happen. So with Jannard saying that, and in combination with the fact that using Rashawn as the scapegoat likely isn't going to work, we most likely haven't heard the last of the King Kilo wanting DMac dead situation. Because using a scapegoat to try to pin a murder on someone is something we've seen multiple times throughout Power history, and ultimately it doesn't end up working out most of the time. In Power Season 2, Ghost and Tommy's crew robbed the Serbs and pinned it on the Albanians, which caused Vladimir and the Serbs to end up having to work with Ghost and Tommy, only for Ghost to end up killing Vladimir and pinning it on the Jimenez by putting one of their cards next to Vladimir. And that resulted in Ghost and Tommy being forced to work for Milan, who knew that it wasn't the Jimenez, but Ghost that killed his distro, Vladimir. Mike Sandoval thought he was going to get away clean with killing Greg Knox when he ended up trying to pin Greg's murder on Ghost once Angela had arrested Ghost. But planting the gun he used to kill Greg with in Ghost's office at Truth was ultimately what got Ghost set free, and how Angela figured out that it was actually Sandoval who killed Greg. One time that a scapegoat actually did work is when Ghost killed Marshall Williams, and when Tony Teresi helped him pin it on Biscuit. Either though Teresi tried to bring this back into play when he was snitching on Ghost, but it didn't end up working because the security camera was off. Then we got Tariq and Tasha, who tried pinning Ray Ray's murder on Kanan, which worked temporarily, but that also ended up blowing up when Dre told Blanca Rodriguez that Kanan was in DC at the time. Tasha also tried to pin Ghost's murder on Quentin Wallace, only for Quentin to have an alibi when he went into a diner while he was waiting for Tasha, and Tasha ended up getting arrested for Ghost's murder because of that. Then we get into Power Book 2, how Lorenzo Tejada tried pinning Zeke's death on International Guap, but much like how Kanan was in DC at the time of Ray Ray's death, International Guap was out of the country at the time of Zeke's death. In Raising Kanan, we still have the storyline of Snaps and Pop pinning Famous's murder on Rock, which we won't know how that story's gonna end until Raising Kanan Season 5, but we got to believe that Kanan will end up finding out the truth about that as well. So with the scapegoat of Rashawn most likely not going to work, in episode 4 it was also foreshadowed that DMac would end up killing King Kilo, because when Tommy first went to talk to DMac and told him that King Kilo had a price on his head for killing his nephew, DMac told Tommy that he would smoke King Kilo too, potentially foreshadowing that DMac will end up killing King Kilo. I think it was Tony Montana who said that he never killed anyone who didn't have it coming. And we could say the same thing about DMac. He killed Seamus, the dirty cop, when he had his gun drawn on Tommy and Diamond and threatening to kill them. And he killed Mad Dog for Diamond because Mad Dog was killing the innocent. So both of them had it coming. And if King Kilo is coming for DMac, he has to do what he has to do to survive. Then there's also the fact that we know JP's gonna die at some point in Season 3 as well. And if King Kilo either kills JP or has something to do with JP's death, again, DMac would be more than justified in taking out King Kilo, the man who killed his father. But another problem when it comes to this scapegoat is the fact that when King Kilo figures out that it wasn't Rashawn who killed Mad Dog and that it was actually DMac, he could end up talking to the SODs and letting them know that Tommy and Diamond killed Rashawn. And this is going to cause a problem with the SODs as well, because they'll want payback for Rashawn. So that would also start a war between the SODs and CBI. In addition to that, there's still the clip from the Season 3 trailer that shows Grey Skull and members of the RDs at Diamond's barbershop with their guns drawn on either Diamond or Jannard. This likely also has something to do with Kilo figuring out that they lied to him, or it could be the RDs going to the barbershop looking for answers after DMac kills King Kilo. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.